Hello and welcome to Wally's Weekly, your one-stop shop for everything gaming and tech. Good news this week for all of you who are fans of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire. Personally, I absolutely love this series. Currently, I'm on the third book, A Storm of Swords. And honestly, it just keeps getting better and better each book in the series. And normally, I feel like I can kind of predict what's going to happen in a lot of these stories that I read. But with George R. R. Martin, I literally have no idea what's going to happen next. And it's absolutely amazing. I'm sure some of you actually know this series more commonly referred to as a Game of Thrones due to the HBO popular series based off the books. And there's more good news for those of you out there that enjoy that as well, because a new game is actually coming to both console and PC, Game of Thrones Genesis. And it's going to be an RTS style-based game, and it's been in production since 2009 from a small French development team known as Cyanide. Now, I haven't actually heard too much about this game. I kind of heard about it way off in the distance when it was first being made, and it caught my interest a little bit because I absolutely love the series. But like quickly after that, I kind of lost attention, and I think it's been off a lot of people's radar. And all of a sudden, it popped back up, and it's coming out this month. And like I said, I'm an absolutely huge fan of this series. But at the same time, while I'm really excited for the possible story that's going to be told in this, I can't help but be a little bit worried because this is so close to development. I believe it's coming out on the 29th now, and I still have yet to see any gameplay. The only thing I saw was a handful of screenshots. And coming from a development team, that relatively doesn't have a track record, and a game that's going to be based off, a show or a movie, you tend to be a little tentative. So if you are a fan out there, I definitely would suggest that you keep your eye on it. But at the same time, don't necessarily just go out and purchase it because I don't know the quality. There's no quality insurance at this point because I haven't seen anything. And usually when they're withdrawing gameplay, it's for one or two reasons. It's either one, it's not good, or two, they're not ready yet. And usually either one of those cases is going to lead to an end product that is less than desired. That being said, though, there is one kind of tidbit that I have been hearing, is that it's possibly going to be following the Great War that happened before Game of Thrones, the first book in the series. And if you're a fan of the lore series at all, then you know that a ton of stuff happened in that war, and it would really be an amazing experience to actually get to figure out what happened then, like get all the details and see everything. So that alone actually might drive me to go and purchase the game if it is the case. Other than that, though, definitely just keep your eye and ear open, and we will see what happens with it. So next today, zombies apparently have become misogynistic, if you haven't heard. So this week, Dead Island released, and it has been developed by Techland, another relatively small development company, and it's been getting, pretty decent reviews, but the majority of the press covering it has actually been for a very different reason. So, unfortunately, when this game came out, it was kind of buggy, and people were having difficulties playing the game, so they decided to release a patch day one, and they actually sent out the incorrect patch up on Steam. And what that did was allow some people to see some of the source code that were in the game, and for one of the character skills, particularly this one woman, I believe her name was Perna. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not. But Perna, her skill that allowed her to deal more damage to men was Feminist Whore. And the skill wasn't actually called out in the game. It was just the coding had been texted that. And it was really more of an inside joke going on within the company. That's not necessarily saying that it's okay. I'm just explaining what it was. It wasn't never really meant to be seen by the public. It was more of a closed behind the doors, inside joke kind of thing. Nevertheless, it was found by someone, posted out on the forums, and now, everybody kind of knows about it. And it's definitely been an unfortunate turn of events. The one thing I will say, though, is I was pretty impressed with how Techland actually handled this scandal. I mean, last week we covered another scandal, and it was kind of under the idea of, deny, deny, deny. We didn't really do anything wrong. Everything's fine. And I would always say that that's the worst approach that you can take. What you should do when you make a mistake is just own up, and that's exactly what Techland did. They explained it. They said that they never meant for this to be in the game, which is true. But at the same time, they said that doesn't condone, their behavior, and it was definitely unprofessional. So, while obviously this was not something to be praised for, I do tip my hat to Techland for taking the mature approach to this and actually admitting that they had made a mistake. Alright, so finally this week there's something that I have actually found to be an extremely interesting story, and I hope you do as well. So when it comes to stories, especially like lighthearted gaming stories making it into the everyday media, they usually honestly make me cringe. They depict gamers usually in a very negative light as antisocial, people who really can't cope with real day life, and most of all just really kind of depict us as those evil creatures that sit down, hiding away from sunlight, living in their parents' basement. And it's unfortunate that we often get depicted as such when really when it comes to gamers and people who enjoy video games, there's just a very wide, eclectic group of people. There's not any one particular type of gamer out there, as there are a multitude of games and there are a number of different things that we all enjoy. You can't just say, oh, someone likes video games, they're like this. And I think, unfortunately, that's too often is the case. And that's why this next story really is something that I've enjoyed a lot personally. So Gordon Hayward is a professional NBA player. And I think if you're an NBA fan at all, then you know that the lockout is happening currently. And these players are looking for alternative sources of income or just, other ways to spend their time, because they're most likely going to have a portion of the season, if not the whole season, off. And I actually remember seeing Delonte West text that he was going to look for a job at Home Depot, but that's a completely different story. I just thought that was comical. But Gordon Hayward is actually a really big StarCraft fan, and he began streaming himself playing with another friend online, and it actually got pretty popular because he tweeted it out, and already being a celebrity, it kind of helps, and a lot of people were watching him play, and someone from IGN was actually watching him play, and they signed him on to come and play in a professional league. Now, I think it's important to note that Hayward is not at the professional level by any means. I think he's been training, he's been taking it seriously, and he's definitely been getting better from what I've read. But he started off, fairly new at the game. But what I really enjoy about this is even if he doesn't have the same skill level and he's really not technically a pro, he has an admiration for it. He really is someone who understands that just like what he does, at this level, at that, pinnacle, it takes an amazing amount of hand-eye coordination and ingenuity and, mental intelligence for the game. And he really does respect that, and I'm excited to see that. And I think it also shows that he is actually someone, who I would consider more than just, a casual gamer. He is a hardcore gamer, but he's also a professional athlete. It just shows you that you can be someone who loves games and plays them passionately and actually takes them seriously and competitively and be a well-rounded person. You don't have to be, what sometimes the media depicts as. And I think that this is just a great story. I'm looking forward to see how he's going to do. He's actually going to be playing in the tournament, I think, relatively soon, going up against, I believe, like 12 of the world's best players. It'd probably be the equivalent of, some of us trying to step on the basketball court, but still, I wish him the best, and I hope he does pretty well. I'll definitely be rooting for him, and yeah, I don't know, it's just a great piece, and don't let anybody ever tell you that because you do something, it reflects on you as a whole, because it never does. That's going to do it for me this week, guys. I hope you enjoy. For more information and stuff, make sure to always come back to the channel. Also, we are starting up the podcast again this week, so make sure to stick around for that as well. Alrighty, I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Hey guys, just wanted to come on and say thank you for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and this is a little friendly reminder that if you did enjoy, please comment, rate, and subscribe. Helps me out a ton, and it also helps other people find these videos. Also, I always welcome other comments, suggestions, things like that in the future. Let me know what you guys are thinking, because I always definitely want to take that into account. I will catch you next week. Peace.